we're going to be doing a video about the misconceptions of blackness. So let's get started. Our first example is of the shared black experience that sometimes people often think that we have. They think that we're a monolith and that we all have the same life experiences and all come from the same cultures and speak the same languages. So our first example is...
Well, we can use the Daniel Kaluuya experience where he was interviewed by Stephen Colbert for his role in Get Out, and just about the movie and stuff, and just the questions that he was asked and how he was asked. So Stephen Colbert asked him, like, basically his questions were approached in a way that it was like all black people are the same. And so I think Daniel's response to that is funny and is interesting, because he doesn't give a blatant answer. He sort of makes Stephen aware of his awkwardness towards the topic, and it sort of makes it seem funny, but in a way it makes us realize how awkward it is for people to approach this topic.
Exactly. So basically,
the meaning besides the social awkwardness of acknowledging ethnicity as a concept, let alone a reality, other races find it difficult to understand that not all black people are African American or from the same culture. Meaning black people or black does not equal African American and vice versa.
Exactly. So we forget that race is basically a social construct, and it's like a concept and ideology, and it's created to oversimplify the differences between different types of people. So Asians, blacks, white people, etc.
It makes it easier to understand people when you can clump them in a specific box, like you're black or you're dark skinned, so you're here.
From here. Yeah.
And you're white, so you're definitely in here. So.
And you know what the experience that everyone has had, even though you're from completely different cultures.
Exactly. So we have a few examples as well as the Daniel example. So
another example we have is Amara La Negra. She's like a singer from Dominican Republic. She has recently tried to get into the American music industry, and she's faced a lot of hiccups, specifically in Miami, from other people from the Latino community who are working in the industry telling her, and just other execs telling her, you're too dark, you look too much like Macy Gray, and you need to look more like Beyonce. So basically they view Latinos as all monolithic, and they're seeing her as an Afro-Latina, expecting her to look like J-Lo or like Beyonce. So they say all black people as the same. When you're dark-skinned, they don't know what to do with you. So another example of this, like she said, is Jennifer Lopez, Penelope Cruz, Salma Hayek, Shakira. All these women are of a Latin community and Latin heritage, but they are, they look different. Some of them are different races, but there's only one type of Latino that's accepted. Whereas,
it's like you look white. And then another example is last year or the year before, Zoe Saldana was cast in a movie where she had to portray Nina Simone, and there was a lot of backlash from the black community because Zoe Saldana is Afro-Latina, and Latina being the prominent word, so she's not
African American.
Yeah, she's not African American. And so a lot of people were like, why can't you get someone who's like dark skinned or someone who's actually like African American or like African to like portray this person, because this is like an opportunity to get someone dark skinned on the screen. This is an opportunity for diversity. And
Nina Simone was discriminated against because of the way she looked, because she was so black,
so it's
and her phenotype, which is often discriminated against in the
like the wide nose, dark skin, afro, like thicker body.
Exactly. So
and then Zoe Saldana is like literally the exact opposite. So people like attack that.
Exactly.
So I mean, I was happy that it was like a colored person, because I would not be surprised if Hollywood literally picked like Celine Dion or something and like dapped her face with like black makeup, dark skin makeup, and then was like go, so
exactly.
Yeah.
So another example, we think that Michaela Cole would be a better representation of Nina Simone because she looks more like her, or even Uzo Aduba from Orange is the New Black, or Yetide from American Gods. All these actresses would be better, and they have more of her phenotype, and they don't have to look exactly like her, but still much closer, and at least in skin color.
Yeah, it was a failed opportunity.
Next example is gonna be Idris Elba. and he faced some kind of struggle when he was promoting movies
during the Oscars
So White season.
Yeah.
So he did an interview for CBC, and he was asked how he felt about the whole Oscars So White situation. So I'm like, lady, like, why are you asking him this? He's not the representative of all black actors.
Yeah, why don't you go and ask someone who's actually like...
Yeah, why are you putting him in this position? And other black people know what it's like when you're in that position of representing the whole entire, being a spokesperson for the whole entire black race, even though you're one person, and it's kind of ridiculous. So he handled it very well, but actors often face this where they have to be the representative or spokesperson for all black people, and it's like a lot of pressure to put on them because they're just human beings. Like, they're not, you know, not one person can speak for a whole race.
We don't have a shared experience. Like, everyone has different experiences.
Yeah, we understand what it's like for him, or not for him, but like for other black people. Like, we can have sympathy or empathy, but at the same time, we don't know exactly what it's like to lose a role because you're black, whereas he might know that, but sometimes he may not have experienced that. So, okay, our second example, our second main point was why basically trying to divide black people. So we've already acknowledged that we have differences within cultures, right? We have different ethnicities, but sometimes people use this against us and say that, oh, you cannot understand what it's like to be from XYZ. You cannot understand racism, right? You can't understand discrimination because you're not exactly from the exact same country. So it's like they flip it on its head and say that you can't relate to each other at all because you're from Jamaica, you're from Grenada, she's from Ghana. Like, how could you guys understand each other? So yeah, that's a divide and conquer technique.
Yeah, and then we start to, like, when we're fighting for like basic rights, or like when we're fighting for something to be seen or something to be heard, they'll say like what Amanda was saying, like they'll be like, well, you're not this, so that doesn't affect you. But it's like,
why do you care?
Yeah, so I think, and then what sucks about it is that sometimes we put that on ourselves and we're like, yeah, you're right, like that doesn't really affect me. And it's like, no, in order for our voice to be heard, we actually have to have like one unified voice. We have to figure out what the struggle is and like what our main problems are, our goals to achieve that, and like go towards that.
Yeah, so everyone's rights and him should be respected, not just like one group of people, basically. Yeah.
Our third topic is unqualified representation.
Yep, so we were referring to when they get a spokesperson, like we said before, to represent the whole black community or to educate people on black history or black culture, and that person is clearly misinformed or they're not prepared, but then they take that person's word as gold and say that that is the experience of all black people. So an example of this is teachers. Sometimes they get teachers or educators, TV personalities.
Like they'll be like it'll be Black History Month, and all of a sudden all the teachers know exactly what it means to be like a black person, and then you'll get like the whitest of the white teachers like standing up there. Not that I'm saying like just because you're white you don't know what like racism is or what it means to be black or what it means to go through these things, but like maybe get someone who can actually share some experiences, or someone who knows someone, or you know, something real. Don't give us facts about what it was like to go through racism in the 18th century. Like, get someone who's like, no, this is unfair and this is what I go through. So there are some like I don't know, there are some like modern representations of it, or easier ones to like acknowledge. So like rappers and like TV personalities, like
athletes,
again, athletes, they'll and like even like a rapper, you'll listen to their lyrics and you're just like, why?
Sometimes it's over exexaggerated.
A lot of the time. Those little Uzi, little dippity dap daps, like
all these little people. Or sometimes they'll be actually reporting what they see on the street in their environment, and maybe it's a lot of negative things. However, that doesn't refer to every single black person. Exactly. And also we discussed how socialization does affect blackness. So in terms of Canada, for example, or like our experience in Canada, we've noticed that like a lot of times black people kind of shift and are raised to grow up in hang out with different groups of kids when they're young, whereas other groups are more raised to hang out with just their own race. So for us, it's very different. And then when you take into account like living in suburbs versus living in a metropolitan city, it's just very different.
Yeah, for sure. Very, very different.
Yeah. So.
And our fourth topic is cultural appropriation and oversensitivity.
Yeah, so we wanted to discuss this because we think it's like people are losing the different definition of cultural appropriation. They're losing the understanding of it and trying to like basically cry wolf. So whenever something happens, people, for example, with emojis, they have black emojis, white emojis, and one girl saw that people who weren't black were using black emojis.
Okay, so basically this is the story. It happened this morning. So my brother goes on YouTube, he clicks on this video, and it was basically this annoying woman who was basically like, there's an emoji, and it was like, it's a black hands, and it's doing like that, or whatever. I don't know what that means.
Like
what is it,
prayer sign or blessing sign,
yeah.
praise sign?
So, but it was like, I think it was a white person who posted that, and she was like, this is cultural appropriation, and you get me, and the whole problem with that annoys me, literally, seeing that annoyed me so much, I wanted to bash my forehead in the counter, was because, first of all, people don't know what the definition of cultural appropriation is. If you are annoyed by something based on a personal level, that's your annoyance. Do not grab that and shove that on a movement towards like social change. Like, or like when girls when girls would be like, we need to be more like ourselves, and then some guy on YouTube who was this troll, he used to do this, but there's a ton of them who will be like, you can't talk about black rights, you're wearing weave, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
So like
because apparently being a black woman is one thing. You can only be one way as a black woman or man.
Yeah, or they'll be like, why like you'll put your hair in a pony, and they'll be like, but you didn't like gel your edges, and it's like,
so you're just wearing different clothes that is not seen as something black people wear.
Yeah,
it's like there's black people are not a monolith. We're not all the same. Like, you can wear whatever you want, and people are just getting so overly sensitive and saying like, you're culturally appropriating someone else because you decide to be interested in this culture and that culture. Like, Canadian culture is a mixture of many cultures. Like, every culture has different influence from many cultures. So it's kind of like, when there actually is some cultural appropriation, it's getting downplayed because people keep crying wolf all the time.
I feel like people feel like in order for them to be heard, they have to attach whatever they're saying to an actual definition, or attach it to something that shows that the other people are in the wrong, and the best way to do that is to say that you are, racist or whatever, because the minute you say the word racist, everyone's like,
and so like shuts up, and there's no conversation anymore.
Because you don't want to be racist. So I mean, that's like a huge problem, the whole word cultural appropriation and just everything that's attached to it. I feel like people need to know what that word is, and we'll put the definition down here so you know like what the definition is, what the word means, and then when you have like things that are actually culturally appropriated, you can speak about it.
And cultures are not stagnant. They move and shift and change, and they're constantly mixing and changing. So it's part of history. So you can't really say there was one culture that stayed the same,
Everything's always mixing and changing.
So that is our video for today. Leave your comments down below. Leave questions and any topics that you think we should do in the future. Leave them down below. We're going to be doing Get Out reviews soon.
Yeah, we have a bunch of videos coming up
this February. It's going to be lit.
Yeah. And don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And like she said, post your questions and things like that. Let us know if we were too harsh or not harsh enough or just perfect.
Exactly. And you can reach us on Facebook, Instagram. We'll leave all our social media contacts
or email us. Yeah.
So, bye.